Marcus, first of all, we'll start with your injuries. How are you looking?
Yeah, we've got a couple of injuries. Obviously, Ben Davis missed the Accrington game and he missed tomorrow's game as well. Unfortunately, Quasi, question mark on Quasi whether he'll be ready or not. He picked up an injury in the week, so we'll leave that as late as possible to give him an opportunity to play. And obviously Scott Vernon as well. Obviously had to come off last Saturday due to concussion. So definitely out Scott and Ben Davis, and we'll leave it as late as possible for Quasi.
What are the injuries then with Quasi and Ben Davis?
Ben Davis is a reoccurring of his calf, which has plagued him, I'm led to believe, earlier in the season. Beginning of the season, I believe, and Quasi has got a niggle, and we'll just see how that goes.
How confident are you that he'll be fit for the weekend?
I don't know. It really is a 50-50 on that one.
What are your options then? Should Scott Vernon? Obviously Scott Vernon's not involved, but should a Quasi not come through his fitness test?
Yeah, well, we've got a centre forwards go in the building. Obviously we've got Callum and Adi Youssef, along with Sam Jones, who's acquitted himself really well up there. So we've still got options, but obviously it limits us at the moment.
Okay. Josh Gowling wasn't involved last week. He's not been seen for a bit. How is he? Where is he?
Josh is fine. No, Josh is fine. Listen, we had a good look at Josh, and then I think it was this time when we played Donny, I put Sean Pearson in to have a look at Sean Pearson. I think everyone would agree. Sean's done really well when he's come in, and Josh never, hasn't done anything wrong either on that front. Andrew Boyce came in last week. We had 3 right-sided centre halves in the building. We've got to make decisions. So Josh and Sean, we've had a really good look at now. And Andrew Boyce came in for a short spell and done well. And the question mark now will be whether we continue to have a look at him and have some questions answered. And
Danny Collins is back, isn't he, for you this weekend? How will you use him?
Hopefully as a left-sided centre half.
All right.
No, obviously suspended last week. Gav Gunning came in, and again, if you look at Gav Gunning as well, it's one of those. Is it another question to be answered? He's came in and he's only started. That was his first game last week in his position as a left-sided centre half. So, do we look at that again? Do we look at Andrew Boyce? Or do we go back and revert back to type in terms of knowing what we've got in terms of Sean Pearson and Dan Collins? So is it an eye on next season? Because obviously Dan Collins is up at the end of the season, so Sean Pearson, the only centre half we've got in the building, is Andrew Boyce, who's under contract for next season. But even though he's under contract, I still doesn't mean anything really.
What are the chances of Sean McAllister getting a game between now and the end of the season?
Like any of them, he'll have competition ahead of him. He's been unfortunate with injuries, and he's going to be, physically he's going to be way behind the group at the moment. So again, for us, he's another player who's under contract for next season. So he's at least got those assurances that he'll have a pre-season to hit the ground running. So really that's got to be his focus. It's been a nightmare season for him, to be honest.
Yeah. Any movement out of the club at all on loan to any of the National League clubs?
No, the window's now officially shut now.
Right. So that's that then. So what you've got, haven't you?
Yeah.
Danny Andrew told us last week after the game that he wants to concentrate on his football, and seemed to indicate that he wouldn't make a decision on his future until the summer. Is that exactly how you understand it?
Bless him. Nice position to be in, isn't it? Playing, and then I'm sure that was just a polite answer to a question. Ultimately as footballers, you don't want your contracts to run out. If you do, there's a reason why. So for me, and I'm talking in general here. So for me, Danny Andrews had a really good season. We're pleased with him. We want him. That's why negotiations had begun with him, and that's between the player, the agent, and the club now. But there'll be deadlines, and we as a club will be making those deadlines, not players.
Yeah, and will that deadline be this summer, or will you ask for an answer before then?
Summer? Ooh, no way. We ain't waiting until no summer. No.
Okay. Are you expecting competition to try and retain him, given the season that he's had for you?
Possibly. I'm sure agents will be working behind the scenes very hard, but ultimately, he's Dan Andrew. This is really his first full season. He's been plagued by injury, but he's someone we want to keep moving forward. And like I said, it's in the hands of the club now. Dan Andrew knows how I feel as a manager towards him. And I think the supporters know in terms of I've been playing him week in, week out. So no, he's very important in terms of what we want moving forward, and hopefully that situation can be addressed fairly shortly.
Okay. Any players agreeing a new deal with you? I know you're talking to lots of players at the moment. Anything agreed?
No, I think now is I'm due a meeting with the board today with regards next season. Financially, so we can start now. This last month to the season now, we can start really picking the bones out of things and really getting down to work in terms of getting things done.
Yeah. Are you going to get a strength and conditioning coach for next season?
Hope so. That's on my shopping list.
Will it be discussed today?
It's already been discussed, so it's I'm just waiting on now that. I'm just waiting on the answer now, and again that's going to come down to the financials of the club and where we are. And obviously, as a manager, I'm always respectful of a club situation in terms of where it is as a budget and what we can spend and what we can't. But for me, there was two massive important roles when I came into the club to enable us to become established again in the Football League, and one was an S&C coach, and one was to bridge the gap between the under-18s and the first team. I really think that gap's important to bridge in terms of development. So
how disappointed would you be if you didn't get a strength and conditioning coach then, having said to the board that you want one?
Listen, I know disappointment. If I don't get one, there'll be a very good reason why, and I'll always respect that. I have a really good working relationship and personal relationships now with the board. We're getting on really well. I'm enjoying my time with them. So now, whatever decision, I respect it because it will be a genuine decision, and it will be it'll be a club decision also.
Is there an indication from the board as to which way that's going to go?
I believe it's going to go in way of bringing someone in. I do believe that, but if it isn't, there'll be a reason why, and I'll understand that. So.
Okay, fair enough. What about your current loan players? Any of those players you want to retain beyond this season?
We'd love to, if I'm being honest, but again, you've got to look at, we've still got players who are under contract for next season, and in certain areas we can't even move at this moment in time because of the players we've got under contract for next season. So at this moment in time as we speak, the loanees will be going back to their clubs at the end of the season.
Are any of them available for a permanent deal in the summer?
I don't know. That would be up to them and their parent club. Those discussions haven't even began because, like I said, we're kind of restricted in terms of what we can do at the moment because obviously we came in and there were players under 2-year contracts. So, as a club, we've got to honour that.
Okay. Doncaster Rovers are on the brink of promotion, aren't they? How envious of them are you?
Envious? No, look, listen. Whether they go up as champions or runners up, they'll certainly go up at automatic, and rightly so. And promotion is what we aspire to one day. But if you look at where Doncaster are, they're not a League Two club. For me, and so for us, we've got to be careful we don't get ahead of ourselves. And like I said, the key is to become established again. You spoke about sports scientists, how important that role is, how important bridging the gap between 18s and the first team for development of producing our own players. So we've got a long way to go in terms of becoming an established Football League club, but we're working tirelessly as management and at board level. But like everything, when it comes to Saturday afternoons, those 3 points, that dreaming, believing, achieving of promotion is on everybody's thoughts, and we're no different. So envious. I'm a proud manager of Grimsby Town Football Club, and we'll have our day. It looks like Donny are going to have their day, and rightly so.
How determined are you though to put their celebrations on hold? Because I mean, they're bringing a big support, aren't they, for this game? You took a big support to their place, didn't you?
Yeah.
So how determined are you to shut that lot up?
Ooh, bit aggressive there. No, of course it's going to be a great atmosphere. Both sets of supporters, but you saw what our away support was like. It turned into a home game, and we've just got to make sure their away fans don't turn it into a home game for them. So, like always, our players have got to give our supporters something to get behind. But like I said, they're going to have their day, and congratulations to them. And Darren's done a really good job, and they deserve it. And they're not a League Two club, so credit due. But we'll have our day too.
Yeah. What are the chances of you beating them then, do you think?
We've got every chance, but the reality is they're there for a reason, so we're going to have to be at the top of our game. But like I said, there's ways of winning football matches, and there's ways of losing as well. As long as the manner's right and the approach is right, and we go about our business, I'm sure we can get a positive result. We're certainly going out to win. Plymouth had a game plan, and I think we all saw that. Made the pitch small, dropped to the halfway line. I think if we'd done that on Saturday, I think there'd be a few boos, I think. So we're going to drop to the halfway line, and we're going to do exactly what Plymouth done.
So you got done at their place, didn't you, by an early free kick? It was a free kick which
2 minutes into the game,
which was to your undoing last week at Accrington. How much have you been addressing that this week?
You've got to be careful, because if you address something too much subconsciously, it can plan in the mind, and before the free kick's even taken, you can have in people's mind it's a goal. We've got to put it down to it's been a freak of a season, the amount of points we've lost to direct free kicks. I mean, we're 7 points off the playoffs. We can easily bridge that gap with looking back at the games where we've lost goals to direct free kicks. Hopefully we don't see a season like this again. Hopefully we see us now, because we've got a few free kick specialists in ours. Let's hope we can start converting ours. But again, this is the level. A reminder, I saw the free kick we gave away on Saturday. I looked back on the footage. It was a needless free kick, and at this level you get punished. So people talk about set up, and we've gone into everything you can ask how much due diligence we do on restarts, but how about not giving free kicks away? That'd be a start.
You do a lot of due diligence, don't you? I know that you go in great detail with your game plan. How do you make sure that you don't overload your players with information and give them too much information?
Well, at the moment we're not overloading them, because if you looked at the wall on Saturday, although listen, I don't think two keepers would have saved that, to be honest. And if you listen to their manager's comments, he's very complimentary of us in terms of we're probably the team who's caused them the most problems at home. But too much information overload, no. There's a setup on the wall which is quite simple, and I've got young Tom in the room. He's one of our under-18s, and he knows the setup. You'll be amazed how much these players get things wrong on restarts. So there was no excuse. Our charger one actually blocked our goalkeeper's view. He couldn't see, and you bemuse yourself. So it's not too restarts. Never too much information. It's a simple structure. They go off. They all know. And like I said, it's that level now. It's that you get punished, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking now to players who can carry out a game plan, who can stay concentrated, organised, and have that desire. And there's a reason why Donny are where they are, and there's a reason why where we are.
Yeah. John Marquis has scored loads of goals for them, hasn't he, this season? How do you keep him quiet?
Yeah, no, John well from my Millwall days when I was there. He was a young apprentice. I think what stands out with John above everything else is his desire. His desire to win football matches stands out every day in training. You know, speaking to Darren, you know, he's a winner. He'd kick his own mum, you know, to win a, you know, not just win a game on a Saturday, but winning training. And that's a winning environment. That's a mentality you need to have, and that's what we're trying to incorporate here. And to be fair, we had one or two little niggles yesterday in training, which was good. So yeah, looks like we're going in the right direction.